Welcome back, guys. Anime Scale here, and today we are ranking the class 1A from My Hero Academia. We'll take the potential uses of their quirks and see how they scale to each other. The power levels you will see are not official. I haven't used any multiplier but made the evaluations using my own Naruto power scale. For those who want to know more about it, you'll find a link for this in the description below. So now let's start with the list. At the bottom, we have Toro Ogakare. Her quirk, invisibility, lets her stay permanently invisible. We know she can also refract light and blind her opponents as such. She has great abilities for stealth, and other than that, we know nothing about her. However, from what we've seen, she possesses average human strength and athleticism, so in a battle, she would be on the level of a regular human since her quirk doesn't help her combat-wise. Next up, Minotaur, the class pervert. His quirk, Pop Off, lets him utilize sticky balls on his head as projectiles. He can also utilize his quirk for defensive purposes and a variety of super moves like Grape Rush and Vineyard. In combat, he is still pretty weak compared to his classmates. Koji Koda barely gets screen time. His quirk, Annie Voice, lets him speak to and control animals. It has a lot of potential on the field as it works in different areas. For instance, bugs can perform sneak attacks from the ground, birds are useful for recon, but at the same time, this ability is very situational as he needs the animals to be near him for him to use his quirk, and in hand-to-hand combat, he's still pretty weak. After Koda, we have Aoyama Yuga. Yuga's quirk, Naval Laser, lets him shoot a sparkling laser from his navel. The laser is quite powerful and can blast through concrete. Unfortunately, he can't fire the lasers for more than a second at a time. Through training, he has increased the power and duration of his naval blasts, as shown when he used his naval saber to signal his teammates during the hero work studies. Physically, Aoyama is quite weak, and although he can utilize his quirk to boost his mobility, in a fight, he doesn't rank very high amongst his classmates. Sero's quirk, Tape, gives him tape disbursement-like organs on his elbows that let him shoot out cellophane tape. His tape is more durable than regular tape, and he can retract them. Using his tape too much causes his skin to become dry. Sero can use this tape in a lot of ways, like using them to create a defensive barrier or grabbing objects or his teammates. In battle, he still ranks pretty low amongst his classmates. Next up, we have Kyoko Jiro. Her quirk, Earphone Jack, allows her to channel her heartbeat through the earphone plugs on her earlobes. She can make these earphone jacks travel several meters. She can also use her earphone jacks to hear minuscule sounds to help her time her attacks. Using the amplifiers on her legs, she can amplify her heartbeat to perform sound attacks. Her quirk isn't very good for close quarters combat, so her ranking is still relatively low. Slightly stronger than Jiro is Ujiro. His quirk Tail simply gives him a powerful and sturdy tail. His tail works as a third arm, and it can hold up his weight and is powerful enough to break through metal. Ujiro is a very capable fighter, and he uses his tail to perform various acrobatic moves. But since his fighting style is strictly close range, he has limited options in combat, placing him here on this list. The next student is Mezzo Shoji. His quirk, Dupli Arms, gives him a set of tentacles alongside his arms. The ends of these tentacles can become organs like ears, mouths, eyes, arms, etc. His duplicated organs are more powerful than his normal ones, as his duplicated ears allow him to hear even the minuscule sounds made by stealth fighters like Toru. Mezzo boasts enhanced strength, speed, reflexes, stamina, and durability. He is also a skilled fighter who knows how to exploit his quirk in combat. Moving on, we have Sato. His quirk is Sugar Rush, which gives him 5 times his physical strength every time he ingests 10 grams of sugar. For every 10 grams he takes, his strength is increased for only 3 minutes. Using his quirk reduces his cognitive functions, and he feels very sleepy afterward. His fighting style involves facing his opponents directly, hoping to defeat them before he runs out of sugar or before the side effects become too much for him to bear. Next on the list, we have Urarka. Even though she started off pretty weak, by Season 4, she has honed her skills to become a better combatant. Her quirk, Zero Gravity, nullifies the gravity on any solid object she touches with the pads on her fingertips. Using her quirk too much or using it on herself makes her feel intense nausea. Uraraka is also trained in gunhead martial arts and is a formidable opponent in her own right. Azui Tsuyu's quirk is Frog, and it simply grants her the physiology of a frog. Using her frog-like abilities, Tsuyu is a highly capable fighter. She has high maneuverability in combat thanks to her frog-like movement and reflexes. Her other abilities, like camouflaging and secreting paralyzing mucus, are all potentially useful in combat. Up next we have Ashido. Her quirk Acid lets her produce a corrosive acid-like substance from her body. She can control the viscosity and solubility of her acid. She has extreme acrobatic abilities as shown with her great dancing skills. She can also use her quirk to skate across most solid surfaces. Mina's fighting style revolves around using her acid for maneuvering and attacking while incorporating her acrobatics. At the top of the class for the girls, we have Yaoyorozu. Her quirk is Creation, which lets her create non-living things from her fat cells. Momo's quirk can be utilized for a variety of purposes, which really makes it an all-round quirk. In combat, Momo combines her keen intellect and broad knowledge of technology to create the right tool for the right job. She's also experienced in using weapons, especially bow staffs. Next up, we have the class rep Ida. His engine quirk gives him car-like engines in each of his calves, giving him incredible running speed and extreme kicking power. He refills the power of his engines by drinking orange juice. When he uses Recipro Burst, he can push his engines to their full power for about 10 seconds to give him extreme speed, faster than even Midoriya using Full Cowl. He is a dependable fighter who relies on rapid and powerful kicks in combat. Kirishima is next in rank. His quirk Hardening allows him the power to harden and sharpen any or all parts of his body. When his quirk is active, he gains superhuman strength, durability, and stamina. When using his quirk, he is durable enough to survive a number of point-blank explosions from Bakugou. He is strong enough to break through numerous concrete walls and smash metal blades with just an elbow. His fighting style involves plowing through his enemies with brute force and tanking attacks that would deter normal attackers. Tokuyami is considered one of the most powerful in the class. His quirk is Dark Shadow, and it allows him to summon a sentient shadow being from his body. Dark Shadow's personality and strength depends on the level of light around Tokuyami. In bright places, it is more docile, albeit a bit weaker. In pitch black darkness, Dark Shadow is a lot more powerful and a lot harder to control. Tokuyami is shown to have high durability even without Dark Shadow. Combining Dark Shadow with his tactical intellect, he is a quite formidable fighter. Next on the list, we have Kaminari with his electrification quirk. He can generate electricity and cover his body in it. He can also absorb and neutralize lightning or electricity-based attacks. Using his quirk to a certain extent, however, causes his brain to short-circuit and renders him useless for an hour. Using special equipment, Kaminari can use both long and close-range attacks on opponents. He is capable of producing up to 2 million volts in a single wide-range attack. Next up, we have the main character, Midoriya. He inherited All Might's One for All quirk and has only been able to use a portion of its full strength. This version of him can use only 8% without damaging his body. Midoriya uses Full Cowl as a way to limit his output so he doesn't hurt his body with 8%. Midoriya was able to go head-to-head with Bakugou. He gains lightning-fast reflexes and notable speed when using 8%. His shoot style is easily able to plow through walls and metal. Another repeat character on this list is Kirishima in his Unbreakable form. By pushing his quirk to the max, he can achieve this Unbreakable mode, which is his maximum level of hardening. In Unbreakable, Kirishima is durable enough to withstand a barrage of attacks from Kendo Rapper, whose Strongman quirk increases the power of his blows. Again, we have Tokuyami. This version of his is the one when he is in complete darkness. Dark Shadow becomes extremely violent and Tokuyami is unable to control it. While he attacks uncontrollably in this form, Dark Shadow packs an unbelievable amount of power, able to slice through several trees with ease. Next up is the hot-blooded Katsuki Bakugou. His quirk Explosion allows him to secrete an explosive substance in his sweat and ignite it on command to create extremely powerful explosions. His hero suit helps him store his sweat to be discharged instantly in form of grenades. Katsuki uses his quirk to propel himself quickly on land and in the air. He can also use his quirk to stun opponents and create a variety of special explosions. Katsuki was able to face and defeat Midoriya at 8%, showing just how formidable his abilities are. It's no surprise that he would place third on this list. Second strongest on this list goes to Todoroki Shoto. His quirk is called Half Cold, Half Hot, and it lets him generate ice from the right side of his body and flames from his left side. He used to favor the cold part of his powers, but after his fight with Midoriya, he started using his flames as well. In combat, Todoroki is capable of rapidly creating ice glaciers that are higher than electric poles. He can also produce flames of similar intensity and size. By balancing both aspects of his quirk, Todoroki is an extremely capable fighter who can potentially stand at the top of the class. But at the top of the class, we have Midoriya Izuku, again this time using 20% of his quirk. At this point, Izuku can easily kick through several concrete walls and is durable enough to survive direct attacks from Overhaul. As his speed and power have increased from his last fight against Bakugou, he would easily be able to defeat his rival here. With his quick thinking and high-speed movements, even Todoroki would be overwhelmed if they were to pit themselves against each other. So there we go, guys. This is it. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and I will